guys, it's good to see you. So I heard that a lot of you guys are stuck inside, and so I thought I might try something a little different today. What do you think about reading some books together? It won't be anything crazy, but I've got some of my favorite books picked out, and I thought it'd be fun if I just read them to you. Does that sound good?
Yeah!
All right, so let me start with a silly one. It's called Frog and Toad. It's by Arnold Lobel, and there's a bunch of short stories in here, but there's one that I really like called Ice Cream. It's pretty silly, and on this one I like doing silly voices, so get ready. Ice Cream. One hot summer day, Frog and Toad sat by the pond. "I wish we had some sweet cold ice cream," said Frog. "What a good idea," said Toad. "Wait right here, Frog. I'll be back soon." Toad went to the store. He bought 2 big ice cream cones. Toad licked one of the cones. "Frog likes chocolate best," said Toad. "And so do I." Toad walked along the path. A large, soft drop of chocolate ice cream slipped down his arm. "This ice cream is melting in the sun," said Toad. Toad walked faster. Many drops of melting ice cream flew through the air. They fell down on Toad's head. "I must hurry back to Frog," he cried. More and more of the ice cream was melting. It dripped down on Toad's jacket. It splattered on his pants and on his feet. "Where is the path?" cried Toad. "I cannot see." Frog sat by the pond, waiting for Toad. A mouse ran by.
"I just saw something awful,"
said the mouse.
"It was big and brown." Something's covered with sticks and leaves is moving this way,"
cried a squirrel.
Here comes a thing with horns,"
shouted a rabbit.
"Run for your life."
"What can it be?" asked Frog. Frog hid behind a rock. He saw the thing coming. It was big and brown. It was covered with sticks and leaves. It had 2 horns. "Frog!" cried the thing. "Where are you?" "Good heavens," said Frog. "That thing is Toad." Toad fell into the pond. He sank to the bottom and came up again. "Drat," said Toad. "All of our sweet cold ice cream has washed away." "Never mind," said Frog. "I know what we can do." Frog and Toad quickly ran back to the store. Then they sat in the shade of a large tree and ate their chocolate ice cream cones together. The end. Do you like that one? Oh, I love how Frog and Toad are such good friends, and even when they don't get the ice cream that they wanted the first time, they just go and get some more. All right, so this next book is a little bit longer. It's called Mike Mulligan and the Steam Shovel. Now, this one I read when I was a little kid, and even then I didn't really know much about steam shovels because they're kind of old. I think they used to use them a long time ago, but that's some of what makes this story so interesting to me. So, see if you like it. It's written by Virginia Lee Burton. Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel. Mike Mulligan had a steam shovel, a beautiful red steam shovel. Her name was Mary Ann. Mike Mulligan was very proud of Mary Ann. He always said that she could dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week. But he had never been quite sure that this was true. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann had been digging together for years and years. Mike Mulligan took such good care of Mary Ann, she never grew old. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who dug the great canals for the big boats to sail through. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who cut through the high mountains so that the trains could go through. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who lowered the hills and straightened the curves to make the long highways for the automobiles. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who smoothed out the ground and filled in the holes to make the landing fields for the airplanes. And it was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who dug the deep holes for the cellars of the tall skyscrapers in the big cities. When people used to stop and watch them, Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann used to dig a little faster and a little better. The more people stopped, the faster and better they dug. Some days they would keep as many as 37 trucks busy, taking away the dirt they had dug. Then along came the new gasoline shovels, and the new electric shovels, and the new diesel motor shovels, and took all the jobs away from the steam shovels. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann were very sad. All the other steam shovels were being sold for junk, or left out in old gravel pits to rust and fall apart. Mike loved Mary Ann. He couldn't do that to her. He had taken such good care of her that she could still dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week. At least he thought she could, but he wasn't quite sure. Everywhere they went, the new gas shovels and the new electric shovels and the new diesel motor shovels had all the jobs. No one wanted Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann anymore. Then one day, Mike read in a newspaper that the town of Popperville was going to build a new town hall. "We're going to dig the cellar of that town hall," said Mike to Mary Ann, and off they started. I should give Mike a voice, shouldn't I? "We're going to dig the cellar of that town hall," said Mike to Mary Ann, and off they started. They left the canals and the railroads and the highways and the airports and the big cities where no one wanted them anymore and went away out in the country. They crawled along slowly up the hills and down the hills till they came to the little town of Popperville. When they got there, they found that the selectmen were just deciding who should dig the cellar for the new town hall. Mike Mulligan spoke to Henry B. Swap, one of the selectmen. "I heard," he said, "that you're going to build a new town hall. Mary Ann and I will dig the cellar for you in just one day."
What?
said Henry B. Swap. Dig the cellar in a day? It would take 100 men at least a week to dig the cellar for our new town hall.
"Sure," said Mike, "but Mary Ann can dig as much in a day as 100 men can dig in a week," though he had never been quite sure that this was true. Then he added, "If we can't do it, you won't have to pay." Henry B. Swap thought that this would be an easy way to get part of the cellar dug for nothing, so he smiled in a rather mean way and gave the job of digging the cellar of the new town hall to Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. They started in early the next morning, just as the sun was coming up. Soon a little boy came along.
Do you think you'll finish by sundown?
He said to Mike Mulligan. "Sure," said Mike, "if you stay and watch us. We always work faster and better when someone's watching us." So the little boy stayed to watch. Then Mrs. McGillicuddy, Henry B. Swap, and the town constable came over to see what was happening, and they stayed to watch. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dug a little faster and a little better. This gave the little boy a good idea. He ran off and told the postman with the morning mail, the telegraph boy on his bicycle, the milkman with his cart and horse, the doctor on his way home, and the farmer and his family coming into town for the day, and they all stopped and stayed to watch. That made Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dig a little faster and a little better. They finished the first corner neat and square, but the sun was getting higher. Clang, clang, clang. The fire department arrived. They had seen the smoke and thought there was a fire. Then the little boy said, Why don't you stay and watch? So the fire department of Popperville stayed to watch Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. When they heard the fire engine, the children in the school across the street couldn't keep their eyes on their lessons. The teacher called a long recess, and the whole school came out to watch. That made Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dig still faster and still better. They finished the second corner neat and square, but the sun was right up in the top of the sky. Now the girl who answers the telephone called up the next towns of Bangerville and Bopperville, and Kipperville and Copperville, and told them what was happening in Popperville. All the people came over to see if Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel could dig the cellar in just one day. The more people came, the faster Mike and Mary Ann dug. But they would have to hurry. They were only halfway, and the sun was beginning to go down. They finished the third corner, neat and square. Never had Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann had so many people to watch them. Never had they dug so fast and so well, and never had the sun seemed to go down so fast.
Hurry, Mike Mulligan, hurry, hurry,
shouted the little boy.
There's not much more time.
Dirt was flying everywhere, and the smoke and steam were so thick that the people could hardly see anything. But listen, bing, bang, crash, slam, louder and louder, faster and faster. Then suddenly, it was quiet. Slowly the dirt settled down. The smoke and steam cleared away, and there was the cellar, finished. 4 corners, neat and square, 4 walls straight down, and Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann at the bottom, and the sun was just going down behind the hill. Hooray! Shouted the people. Hooray for Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel. They have dug the cellar in just one day. Suddenly the little boy said,
How are they going to get out?
That's right, said Mrs. McGillicuddy to Henry B. Swap. How is he going to get his steam shovel out? Henry B. Swap didn't answer, but he smiled in a rather mean way. Then everybody said, How are they going to get out? Hi, Mike Mulligan. How are you going to get your steam shovel out? Mike Mulligan looked around at the 4 square walls and 4 square corners, and he said, Well, we've dug so fast and we've dug so well that we've quite forgotten to leave a way out. Nothing like this had ever happened to Mike and Mary Ann before, and they didn't know what to do. Nothing like this had ever happened before in Popperville. Everybody started talking at once, and everybody had a different idea, and everybody thought that his idea was the best. They talked and they talked and they argued and they fought till they were worn out, and still no one knew how to get Mike and Mary Ann out of the cellar they had dug. Then Henry B. Swap said,
The job isn't finished because Mary Ann isn't out of the cellar, so Mike Mulligan won't get paid.
And he smiled again in a rather mean way. Now the little boy, who had been keeping very quiet, had another good idea. He said,
Why couldn't we leave Mary Ann in the cellar and build the new town hall above her? Let her be the furnace for the new town hall, and let Mike Mulligan be the janitor. Then you wouldn't have to buy a new furnace, and we could pay Mike for digging the cellar in just one day.
Why not? Said Henry B. Swap, and smiled in a way that was not quite so mean. Why not? Said Mrs. McGillicuddy. Why not? Said the town constable. "Why not?" said all the people. So they found a ladder and climbed down into the cellar to ask Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. "Why not?" said Mike Mulligan. So it was decided, and everybody was happy. They built the new town hall right over Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. It was finished before winter. Every day the little boy goes over to see Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, and Mrs. McGillicuddy takes him nice hot apple pies. As for Henry B. Swap, he spends most of his time in the cellar of the new town hall, listening to the stories that Mike has to tell, and smiling in a way that isn't mean at all. Now when you go to Popperville, be sure to go down in the cellar of the new town hall. There they'll be, Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, Mike in his rocking chair smoking his pipe, and Mary Ann beside him warming up the meetings in the new town hall. The end. What'd you think? Did you like that one? I thought it was really cool how when they called the fire department, it was like a really old car. It didn't look like the fire trucks that you see nowadays. That book was written in 1939, it says. That's a long time ago. All right, so for our last book, it's another kind of silly one. You want to see it? It's called Lion Lessons by John Agee. This one is really silly. It's about a boy that's trying to learn how to become like a lion, and he has a really hard time at first, but it changes in the end. Are you ready? Let's see, does this one have voices? Yeah, we'll do voices on this one. You see? All right. It's not easy getting your lion diploma. I know. I took lessons. My teacher was a pro. There are 7 steps to becoming a lion, he said. But first, we must stretch. We did the upward lion, the downward lion, the upside down lion, the rolling lion, the flying lion, and we shook our manes. Step 1 was looking fierce. Watch me, said the lion. You bare your claws, gnash your teeth, and show your fangs. I tried out my 3 most frightening poses. The lion wasn't impressed. Step 2 was roaring. It's simple, said the lion. Take a deep breath and roar as loud as you can into the microphone. I took a deep breath and roared as loud as I could. Needs work, said the lion. See him there? Roar! Step 3 was choosing what to eat. The lion showed me the menu. Are there any specials? I asked. You know, like spaghetti? The lion growled. We don't eat spaghetti. Step 4 was prowling around. We crept through the woods trying to be invisible. We hid in the bushes. I can see your tail. We hid behind trees. Your tail, said the lion. I can still see it. Step 5 was sprinting. Do you see that tree? Said the lion. I looked around. You mean the little one here? No, said the lion. The big one on that faraway hill. I'll meet you there in 5 minutes. It took me an hour. You need to hit the gym, said the lion. Step 6 was pouncing. It's simple, said the lion. You get a running start, and then you jump on that lady. But I'll scare her to death. That's the idea, said the lion. So I got a running start, and I pounced. Oh, what a cute little kitty cat, said the lady. Are you lost? Meow, I said. The lion checked my scores. This is not very promising. Step 7 was looking out for your friends. Right away, I spotted a kitten. Friend or foe, said the lion. That's easy, I said. Friend. Well, what about that dog? I let out a ferocious roar. Roar! I bared my claws, gnashed my teeth, pawed the ground, shook my mane, and then I sprinted across the field as fast as I could and pounced, exactly like a lion. Bravo, said the lion. And that's how I got my diploma. I'm very proud of it. But now the neighborhood cats won't leave me alone. Oh, what'd you think? Did you like that one? Now you can pretend to be a lion and think of this book. Oh man, well thank you guys. This was a fun story time. If this is something that you like, maybe I could do some more of these. Tell you what, why don't you have your mommy or daddy send me a message on Instagram telling me what your favorite book is, or one of your favorite books, and maybe I can read it on here, and we can have some cool story times while we're all stuck inside. Does that sound good? All right, well thank you so much for reading with me today. I'll see you next time. Bye.